The Chargers are dropping hints that Justin Herbert might not be playing Sunday. The Rams, well, they appear to be tinkering with their defensive line. And another pundit is suggesting that Alex Grinch might be in line for the Arizona State job. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It is September 22nd, 2022. Happy to be alive. Happy to be talking to you guys. We added a new subscriber yesterday. We are inching closer to 300. By comparison, my wife's TikTok account, 1,800. Not jealous at all. Hell no. Hey, if you like the content we put out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. This is the way that I keep things good on the road so that I'm not checking out the local spearmint rhino. Now, before we go to the news and notes around LA, take a quick look at the scoreboard. There was only one game last night involving an LA team. Arizona 6, Dodgers 1. The Dodgers are now on a 2-game losing streak. Oh my God, we're screwed. Well, actually, the Dodgers aren't, but Dustin May might. Look, he's been up and down since he's been coming back from Tommy John surgery, and giving up 5 earned runs in 4 innings to the Arizona Diamondbacks simply isn't a good look for the postseason roster. Tonight, by the way, the Dodgers will play Arizona one last time. That's going to be Julio Urias, 17-7, Zach Guillen, 12-3. Let's start off with the Chargers, though. Coach Brandon Staley, he's acting as if quarterback Justin Herbert is a game-time decision. Now, you might recall last week against the Chiefs, he has damage to his rib cartilage, which is actually quite painful. Now, color me skeptical about him not playing on Sunday. The LA Times went to a doctor, and they talked to him and just to give some hypotheticals. Said that full recovery from rib cartilage damage can be anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. Now, it's going to depend on Herbert's pain tolerance. I don't think that they want to go 1-2. This is a team that was built for a Super Bowl run. My gut feeling, he's playing. Having said that, if needed, backup Chase Daniel has 5 career starts, but he has not started since 2019. Gut feeling, they don't want to take any chances on falling further behind the Chiefs. I think he's playing. Also, you might recall regarding both Staley and Herbert, last week I posted a clip where I was adamant that Herbert wasn't at fault for the critical pick 6 that allowed the Chiefs to defeat Los Angeles. And the reason I put that up was because I absolutely was just flabbergasted with the number of pundits who pointed the finger at Herbert. Some even claimed that Herbert tried to give the game away. Now, Staley, for his part, finally took responsibility for that yesterday, not just for Herbert, but the whole kit and caboodle. Because, as I mentioned in that tape, the intended receiver was Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett went out on his route, but it was an option. In other words, if he was covered to the out, he was supposed to immediately turn around, come back in, where he would be open. Herbert saw that. Everett kept going out. Defender steps in front, picks him off. Everett said that he was so tired because he had been targeted repeatedly on that drive. So Staley finally takes responsibility of that, said that he did notice that receiver Gerald Everett was waving that he wanted off the field, but Staley kept him on because Staley thought that the task was simple enough. Apparently not. Senator Corey Linsley and cornerback J.C. Jackson did not practice yesterday. Wide receiver Keenan Allen, though, this is actually important. He was limited in practice, so there might be the possibility he's back as soon as this Sunday against Jacksonville. By the way, I'm not much of an analytics guy. I don't hate it. It just means that there are certain things about analytics that I can't explain. The Chargers, we recall, their defense last year was garbage. There's just no nice way to say it. But how much have they improved? There's a group that has something called an efficiency metric. Last year's Chargers defense was 26th through 2 games, which I granted you is not a big sample size, but through 2 games, they are all the way up to 7th in defensive efficiency. Former first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, former UCLA star Tack McKinley, a defensive lineman, has joined the Rams. McKinley, first-round pick, he started off pretty good. He had like about 6-7 sacks for the first couple of years with the Atlanta Falcons, and then all of a sudden he bounces around the league, fails physicals with a variety of teams. My belief is that the former coach over in Atlanta, Raheem Morris, who is the current defensive coordinator of the Rams, put in a good word for the guy. There are also rumors that the Rams might be interested in free agent defensive lineman Ndamukong Suh. Do we have anything to go on it? No. Do I want them to get Suh? Oh, hell no. Suh is a loose cannon. You might recall in the playoffs last year, Suh played in Tampa Bay. He gift wrapped a touchdown for the Rams with a couple of personal fouls and a drive in the first quarter. So this is not exactly a great idea for a pickup. When he played for the Rams, he didn't do squat for him, lining up next to Aaron Donald until the playoffs came around. Then all of a sudden he started playing. So I don't think this is a good idea. Matthew Stafford is unfortunately ahead of last year's interception pace. He threw 17 last year. He threw the most, right along with Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Right now he has 5. You can extrapolate the numbers over how long that's going to be over a 17-game season. There is a possibility, though, that it will smooth out a little bit for him because they are playing Arizona this weekend. Arizona has yet to get an interception this year. Tight end Bryson Hopkins has been suspended for 3 games for violating the substance abuse policy, which means he is out until October 10th, my apologies. Hopkins, however, has not been a big factor for the Rams. He's only played 8 snaps this year. The only concern about it, though, is that the Rams have but 1 tight end on their active roster. Jacob Harris is on the practice squad if they wanted to call him up. An ESPN analyst is now the second media type who is hyping up Alex Grinch for the open Arizona State job. Now, to be clear, I don't know if they have inside dope or if they're just throwing names against the wall to see if any of them stick. So they can say, hey, everybody, I scooped everyone. I thought Alex Grinch was going to be a great head coach. We have nothing to go on there. And it could also be just like one guy going on Twitter, seeing another guy mention Alex Grinch, so he mentions it, and all of a sudden you get this kind of echo chamber effect. Here's the thing. The Arizona State job is a terrible job to have right now. I read a story where the administration apparently fired Herm Edwards on the field after the game. Now, it hasn't been verified, but they may have fired him on the field, and Herm Edwards was like, bleep you guys, and just flew home on a charter on his own plane, basically flew coach or whatever. In addition to that, Arizona State is possibly facing sanctions for recruiting violations. So if USC had to live down the Lane Kiffin firing on the tarmac, I mean, coaches don't want that level of disrespect. Can you give me one solid reason why Alex Grinch would leave a prime job in Los Angeles for the Arizona State gig? Because right now I can't. Jalen Hale, the nation's number 9 rated high school wide receiver, by the way, has spurned USC. He's going to Alabama instead. He's a very productive wide receiver from Longview, Texas. The LA Kings opened training camp today. Todd McClellan surprised writer Helene Elliott, who, by the way, is a terrific hockey writer. He said that the easy part of the rebuild was behind the Kings. Not sucking is easy. Closing the gap between the Kings and the elite, that's going to be a pain. Now, as for the state of the Kings right now in terms of health, what I can tell you, Defenseman Sean Walker, his workload will be monitored very closely. You might recall he missed a big chunk of last season with a knee injury, which required surgery. Same for Sean Dursey, who played a lot last year, but he had surgery to his shoulder. Center Alex Turcotte failed his physical with a concussion. We've mentioned that before. He was a former number 5 overall pick in the NHL draft, and he just hasn't lived up to expectations due to injury concerns. The Lakers are going to retire George Mikan's jersey on October 30th. Now, that has been a long time coming. He may very well have been the prototype for the big man position for generations to come. The fact that he hasn't been retired, maybe because he played in Minneapolis, kind of blows your mind when you think about it. The Athletic also graded the Lakers offseason as a C-. We're going to go through this just because we want to get to know this team a little better, so we might be a little repetitive. The Athletic, NBA, and Lakers writers, they think LA is better off at point guard if Kendrick Nunn gets to play. Remember, he chose not to play last year as a result of a knee injury. They also like the point guard position because of Patrick Beverley's energy. So notice they're talking about other players and not necessarily Russell Westbrook. This doesn't necessarily mean that they believe Russell Westbrook is going to be traded. Matter of fact, there have been rumors about the Lakers trading for Bojan Bogdanovic. That's not happening. He's being traded right now to the Detroit Pistons as we speak. As for the wing, nobody has any idea if there's been any improvement for the Lakers in their roster since last year. Also, they do believe that the team is better at center because Dwight Howard is gone. That last part that I mentioned, by the way, is actually key to the whole season if the center position is better, because you know what you're going to get from LeBron James. But having Anthony Davis play the 4 and having younger bigs play the center takes the pressure off of Anthony Davis, takes the physical contact off of Anthony Davis, so that hopefully he can play much longer this season than he did last. The Dodgers are probably activating Brusdar Graterol today to the bullpen. On the other hand, relief pitcher Blake Trinan, who was supposed to be activated today, quote, is just not bouncing back the way any of us would have hoped, said Dave Roberts. So when? No idea. None. Also in the bullpen, David Price pitched a simulated game on Thursday. Apparently he looked good. Don't know what that means in terms of long term for any of them, actually, except for Graterol. We have high school recruiting news, finally, for UCLA. Donovan Pallot is committed to the Bruins. Now, he plays multiple positions for Silverado High School in Las Vegas. He's a running back. He's a wide receiver. He's a defensive back. He can do it all. And why do I bring it up? Because the Bruins aren't going to play him at defensive back, wide receiver, or running back. They see him as a linebacker. Why not just put him at nose tackle? I mean, for Pete's sake, this kid apparently can do anything he wants. By the way, I don't want to clown UCLA for thinking of him as a linebacker. Most of the schools, and there were a lot of schools that recruited him, did see him as his physical frame filled out as a linebacker. And by the way, why else would you see him as a linebacker? Ken Norton Jr. was apparently the lead recruiter. Ken Norton Jr. would not be recruiting you if he thought you were going to be playing, if you were going to be trying to move the chains on 3rd and 1. That's not happening. Gareth Bale thanked LAFC fans for making him feel at home. How much love there is in the room for that guy. And apparently he said it as a slight to the fan base and the franchise of Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid cares, bro. Just thank where you are and move on with your life. Now, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are here talking LA sports every single day. Thanks for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. And by the way, we'll be by later today with a Bruins preview of their game this weekend. Faithful Angelenos is a Ken Corte El Queso production. Take care.